friends in Christ Jesus, I am extremely delighted to be here with you people to share with you a very important theme called the discernment of spirits, and especially with Loyola TV viewers.
Growing stronger and stronger as fighting lasts longer and purer to make heaven surer. With crosses and trials and many denials we'll stop but to die true, loyal to our King who reigns on high. Ignatius, lead us on till we die.
St. Ignatius, in his rules for the discernment of spirits of the spiritual exercises, rule numbers 313 to 336, clearly explains what it means to be discernment. In Spanish, he writes like that: El discernimiento es buscar y hallar la voluntad de Dios. It means to search for and to find out the will of God. It is not mere searching for. It is to search for, which would lead us to find out the will of God. St. Ignatius, in one of his letters to Teresa Regadel, a religious nun, gives the definition for discernment. He says, it is a sifting of one's inner experiences to discover their orientation and hence recognize their origin. Ignatius uses three important words here. The first one is the inner experiences. The inner experiences, it includes thoughts, beliefs and judgments on the mind level, feelings and emotions on the heart level, and desires and inspirations on the will level. The second word is orientation. There are two types of orientation. One is leading towards God and the other one leading against God. The third word is origin. There are three important origins, my dear friends. One is the good spirit and God. The second is the evil spirit. And the third, myself. How I react and respond to God and good spirit or the evil spirit. To understand discernment, it is better on our part to get into the etymology. It is a Latin word. The original root word for discernment is called cernocratum. It means to separate. Suppose I ask my friend Xavier Antony to give me a black color pen. He comes here to give me a black color pen. Thanks a lot, Xavier Antony. It is a black color pen. That's where in discernment the first important part comes. The black color pen I asked for and Xavier Antony gave me. What did he do? It is very simple. He has other colored pens, a spectacles, a t-shirt, a chapel, a good watch, but he gave me a black color pen which I asked for. What did he do? He was separating a pen from all the other materials that he has. In discernment, the first step is to separate good from evil. In Deuteronomy chapter 30 verses 15 to 20, when we read, Yahweh Lord says, I have kept in front of you life and death, light and darkness. It is you who have to choose it. What to choose? I'd be very much pleased if you choose light and life. Separate light and life from darkness and death. That's where in discernment the second important part comes. But my dear friends, it doesn't end here to mere separation. I asked Xavier Antony to give me a black color pen. He gave me a black color pen. Does it look like a black color pen? Yes, it looks like a black color pen. In the same way, the word cernocratum is refined into discerno discretum. It means not only the ability to separate, but also to differentiate externally. Xavier Antony had other pens. Since I asked a black color pen, he gave me a black color pen. Externally, it looks a black color pen. St. Ignatius, in the rules for the discernment of spirits, clearly says that a good person will separate and differentiate the better from good. And so, Ignatian discernment lies not merely between good and evil, but between two better options. My dear friends, I asked Xavier Antony to give me a black color pen, and he gave me. It looks externally black, but we are not sure what is internally. That's where in discernment the third important part comes. It means discernire. Not only the ability to separate and differentiate externally, but the ability to distinguish what is there intrinsically. Sometimes outer appearance may be good, but interiorly bad. St. Ignatius says, the angel of light, the evil will come in the form of angel of light. And so we have to check clearly what is intrinsically present. My dear friends, here comes a very, very important fourth part. I asked for a black color pen, and Xavier Antony gave me. What did he do? He not only separated, differentiated, distinguished, but he made a judgment. And so the fourth important part of discernment is discretion. It means the rectitude of right judgment. Now, my dear friends, St. Ignatius comes to the fifth part, the very, very important part. That is called discernimiento in Spanish, discernimientum in Latin. It means not only the ability to separate, differentiate, distinguish and judge, but the ability to perceive and understand. If you don't perceive with all its multifaceted reality, you cannot make the right understanding. And so, understanding and perception, together with all the other elements, form the real discernment on the spirits. That is called the discernment of spirits according to the mind of Ignatius. My dear friends, what exactly is the difference between discernment and prayer? Discernment is part of prayer. According to Ignatius, prayer is union with the Lord. According to Teresa of Avila, prayer is familiarity with God. And so any act of soul connecting with the Lord is prayer. Then what is discernment? Discernment is part of prayer where we will search and find the will of God. To be a discerning person, we should have certain preconditions. If the preconditions are not fulfilled, then you cannot discern and make the right decision. The first important precondition for discernment is a deeper commitment to look for God's will in the details of my life. I have to look for God's will in all details of my life. The second precondition is I should have a deep faith in the Lord, who would help me in my discerning process. Without faith, nothing can move, my dear friends. The third important precondition is prayer. Discernment should be done in the ambience of prayer. Without prayer, I will not discern correctly according to the will of the Spirit of the Lord. The fourth important precondition, my dear friends, is the awareness of interior movements. I already told you there are three levels on which the interior movements happen. The first level, on the mind level, thoughts. The second level, on the heart level, your feelings. The third level, on the will, your desires, your meaning systems. And so you should become aware of your interior movements. And the fifth important precondition is the awareness of social reality. Not merely information here, my dear friends. Then you can go to the computer, you can go to Google. They will be better discerning person, but they are not. Human beings discern, and so it is an empathetic understanding of social reality. The sixth important precondition is interior freedom. I told you so many preconditions, but this is the important precondition. It means what? I should become aware of my fears, prejudices, anxieties, my false beliefs, my attachment to persons and things. If I have any type of disordered affections or disordinate attachments, then I cannot discern correctly. I will discern my own will rather than God's will. And so interior freedom is the very important part, precondition of discernment. The seventh precondition is fraternal love. Fraternal love here, Ignatius categorically mentions that there are four types of love. One is called erotic love, and the other is called fraternal love, and the third is called familial love, and the fourth is called the unconditional love. St. Ignatius, for discernment, asks us to choose this fraternal love. I will be having other-oriented attraction. I will decide on behalf of others when I discern. If I discern for my own sake, for my own welfare, then why the need to have a discernment? And so fraternal love is the seventh important precondition. My dear friends, I am coming to the eighth important precondition, that is called a certain humility. Humility comes from a Latin word called humos. Humos means the dust. I should be like a dust in front of the Lord, asking His grace to help me to discern properly and find out what His will here and now for me. And the ninth important precondition, my dear friends, is to take risk. Courage to take risk. If not risk, at least reasonable risk is needed. St. Ignatius, in the annotation number 5, he says, certain magnanimity, certain generosity, and certain desire. The desire to take risk is part of the discernment process. I am coming to the last very important precondition, that is called indifference. I would put it Ignatian indifference. Indifference in the Ignatian sense is not apathy, not caring for. It is more of an empathetic vision, a passion, to find out God's will. What is God's will for me? And so Ignatian indifference is filled with passion, a passion to discern and decide God's will here and now for us. So, my dear friends, Ignatian discernment is a very simple but a very important tool in all our lives. Whether it is for a simple matter or the state of life, I will look at the reality from the eyes of the Lord and I will make a decision. And so the art of appreciating the gifts that God has given to me, discovering how we might best respond to that love in everyday life, a useful process for decision making that involves reflection, prayer. To put everything together, my dear friends, you have to separate correctly from good to evil. Not only separate, but differentiate externally what is better for you. Then distinguish what is better for you intrinsically and make a rectitude of judgment. Finally, perceive and understand what exactly my Lord wants from me in this situation, having the conditions, but very important condition, as I told you, the interior freedom. I am for my Lord. The Lord will move me. Here I am, Lord. Let your will be done on me.